So I'm here with Laura Tangolini. She's a filmmaker behind a documentary called My Syrian Wedding. Welcome to Milan. Thank you for your time.
Hi.
Thank you. So yeah, if you could just give us, for the benefit of the viewers, I've seen the film, but could you just give us a synopsis of what the film is actually about, and also why you made it?
Okay. This film is about my charity marriage for Syrian people, because I used to live in Syria in 2009 and I fell totally in love with the Syrian people. So when I got married 1 year ago, I decided to organize all the marriage to help these people.
Right.
What does it mean? We took all our marriage gift, which were money, and we used this money to go to Turkey at the border with Syria, and with this money we bought jackets, winter jackets, and toys, and school materials for 160 orphans from Syrian war. And instead of doing other stuff in the organization of the marriage, we prefer to help by distance another Syrian orphan, which was in Lebanon, south of Lebanon, for 1 year.
Right.
So this is why how we spend our money for the marriage, but doing something else. And then we went with the marriage dresses to Turkey and to Lebanon, and we offer like a marriage big lunch with these children, and so we spent some days with these children. So it was like a party with these orphans. And in the meantime, I collected many testimonials. I don't know how to say. The people I met, so the children most of all, but not all the children, they told me about their experience as refugees. What did they escape from in Syria? Which situation do they live in Lebanon and in Turkey? Which difficulties? So it was a way to make these people speak about their situation as a refugee.
And of course, particularly in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, we all know, well, we all have an image of what's going on in Syria, but only what we see on the news, of course. Where do you think Syria is going to be in 2 years' time?
What? Sorry?
Where do you think Syria, the country that is Syria now, what is your view of the country that it will be in 2 years' time?
In the future?
Yeah.
The situation in Syria is very bad. I mean, they say the war...
horrendous, I think, is probably a better word.
They say the war is finished because there is not ISIS anymore, that's what they say.
Yeah.
But it's not the real truth, because Syria is a almost totally destroyed country. Half of the population of Syria is out of Syria or out of its home, because Syria has 22 million people as a population before the war, and now 5 million are abroad because they are refugees,
of course,
and 7 million are internal displaced. And so these people don't have their life anymore. They didn't have their life for 6 years now. So it will be difficult for them to recover their previous life. The country is destroyed, the buildings, the schools, the hospitals, and all the violence we have seen in these years, of course, will make other troubles, other problems, because if someone has killed your mom, your daughter, your children, if you have been obliged to live somewhere far without anything for years, maybe you could think to revenge somehow. So many problems, I guess, will be more. Not everything is solved now. There are winners, theoretically, but nobody has won in this war. Maybe Assad, which is still in power, the president.
Yeah, for the moment.
But the consensus is not high. Cannot be any more high.
And I suppose part of the problem is, even if Assad was taken out of power, then there would be a power vacuum. So of course, you know, as has happened in other countries. So I can't see it being resolved for years. It's going to be years and years and years.
Years and years, of course. There is a lost generation of children who haven't gone to school anymore, and all the children I spoke with in this documentary, in this film, they told me what they miss the most is going to school. When it is not my mom or my dad who has been killed. But the second step is what I miss the most is going to school. Because in the country where they live now, like Lebanon, like Turkey, going to school is sometimes impossible, sometimes very difficult. Anyways, it's not the same school they had in Syria. I mean, not their life. They don't have their previous friends. It's difficult. The curriculum is different from the one they had in Syria. They don't have all the concrete stuff they have before. So even the school is something which is like a chimera for these children.
And to get into Syria now, how do you do that? Into Turkey, then down to, so you can't fly into Syria, you'd have to go via Turkey, I assume, for you to go back into the country.
I don't know, actually I didn't try to go inside Syria in these years.
That was my next question, yeah. When was the last time you were actually in Syria? Inside the country?
This time to do the film, you mean?
No, when was the last time you were inside?
The last time it was in 2009.
Right,
so
okay.
Before the conflict.
Right, okay, okay. And can you tell me what your history is? What did you do before you made this film? What is your background?
Before this movie?
Yes.
Professional one, you mean? Professional background?
Because I think you've been involved in broadcasting or filmmaking before, is that correct?
Yes, I'm an anchor woman for the Italian TV all news channel Rai News 24.
Yeah.
And I am in the foreign affairs office. So I'm like envoy, not always, because most of the time I'm an anchor for the channel. So I'm presenting the bulletin, the news. But I'm in the foreign office department.
Yeah.
So sometimes I did some reportage abroad, most of the time about refugees or this kind of stuff. Otherwise, I went, I don't know, I spoke about Romanian protests some months ago, so it was not about refugees. But most of the time it was about refugees, Syrian refugees in Lebanon, Syrian refugees in Jordania, Syrian refugees in Turkey, or refugees in Kenya, so this kind of.
And tell me, how do you balance, because I know after this, we spoke earlier that you're going to do you're on a promotional tour at the moment.
Yes.
So how are you balancing all of that with your TV work? How does that, because presumably you have hardly any time at the moment. How are you balancing it?
It's difficult. Balance everything. It's difficult. It's hard to find the time to do everything. Also because this movie is not just a movie, it's a bigger project. It's connected with a book. It is a charity project. Because what I shot in the movie is my charity marriages. No, we use our money to do that, and we film that. But everything that I will gain from the selling of the book and the movie, which is connected to the movie,
goes back.
Will be not to me.
It goes back. That's what I'm saying.
Charity to a Syrian organization again. So it's a bigger project, and the promotion also is very. It's hard.
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm going to the school, universities, to do to sensibilize about the Syrian refugees drama. And there is music in this project because the soundtrack. My husband, which was with me, obviously, in this trip, he has done the soundtrack, all the songs. Two of them, we have written the songs together, and we sing together in the documentary. So when we go speaking about the book, we sing and play also the song together live, guitar and voice. So it's big project, and it has many places when we can bring it. I told you, not only schools, not only university, but we are going to like concert hall places, or pub, so it's very polyhedric.
And is the film that you've ended up with, is this film the film you hoped it would be?
The film?
So the film you have,
yes.
Is it the film you hoped it would be? So in other words, is the end result, are you happy with the end result, or do you wish you had added more to it? Is the story in the film exactly how you wanted it to be, or was there bits missing, or do you wish you could have added to it?
No, it's almost exactly. I mean, the book has something more.
As they do, yeah. As
I
they
mean,
always
the
do,
book has. In the book, I spoke with 150 orphans, 150 Syrian refugees. In the movie, there are, I guess, less than 10. So it is a selection. In the book, I speak about the consequences of their presence in the near country. So racist problems, cohabitation problems. So I like do a deeper investigation about all the problems connected to being Syrian refugees and hosting Syrian refugees. In the movie, I chose only to put the most emotional part and only the charity part. So only the trip, me and my husband, and the meeting with the people we helped. So some stories, and so just part of the whole project. I cannot say anything in the movie because there are too many people to make speak.
I understand.
So I try to put the best to do to make understand the charity sense meaning of this project. To understand that important is to try to do something to help these people, because these people they need our help.
Yeah. And how difficult was it to make the film?
Not too much.
Did it go as you planned?
I did
Because we say men plan and God laughs. So in other words, you plan to do things, but things go wrong, don't they?
No, actually not.
They're smooth, yeah?
Actually not. I planned everything for, let's say, 5 months, maybe 5 months before the marriage. I start planning, and all the contacts with the NGOs that helped me to find the children. To do the shooting, I found a guy who did in Lebanon. I did pay the video maker. In Turkey, let's say I didn't pay. It was another guy who he liked the charity idea, and he told me, okay, I will do it for free. I will come with you.
Yeah.
And I find him easily. And the trip was easy because these NGOs helped me to arrange everything, so it was not difficult that. The security aspects, I didn't have so many problems. I mean, some areas like the one at Reyhalli at the border between Turkey and Syria, 3 weeks after they raped an Italian journalist from there, the Turkey authorities. But he didn't told them exactly that he was going there in that area. I was declaring everything to the authorities, so everything was normal, didn't have problems. I was not doing anything connected with politics. It was something humanitarian.
Yeah, it's because it's very difficult. I mean, there's all sorts of factions, countries. There's so many different countries involved. What's going on in Syria at the moment? It's very, very difficult. And I said,
all the world is involved now in Syria.
Yeah, everyone's involved in it. I mean, it's a bit of a silly question, but would you like to go back? And if so, when?
In Syria? Yeah. That's my dream. Actually, my dream is to go back to Syria as soon as it's possible to go and.
But there's no way you're going to go back now. It's just too dangerous, isn't it?
Not now, because it would be, I think, almost useless. I mean, my idea is to go back to Syria and write about or film. I will see, for sure I will write about how, as it changed the Syria I used to live in and the Syria now. How this revolution, what this revolution has really gained and what not. But it's too early to understand. Now there is Astana, Geneva, all the diplomacy meeting, which until now has done nothing actually. Now these meetings are more about the military and political, how they will share the control over Syria, maybe. So it's something else. But I want to wait until this phase, this step is ended, and then I want to go there. So when everything is clearer about how is Syria now and how Syria will be in the future.
But that could be years away, couldn't it? To be fair.
Could be years. I hope no. I hope no, and I hope maybe I can find not everything totally clear, but a little clearer to say, okay, now I go. And I can check and see how it is my Syria. And how can I, if I can recognize something of my Syria. I would like to go back with my Syrian friends. All my Syrian friends are not in Syria anymore. They are abroad in the world. All over the world, Scandinavia, Spain, USA, London, Turkey, Holland, they are everywhere. Another dream is to go with them, with them and go in the same places we used to go, I used to live, they used to live, and do something with them. That's the dream.
Yeah, and just finally, other than this film, and I know you're very busy, but can I make the assumption that you're looking at other projects at the moment?
Film or books, or in general?
Well, documentary.
Documentary. Actually not, because I'm thinking about two other issues. One is about migrants.
So factual books?
Factual books, yes. It's about migrants, one, and one I think about domestic violence against women, because I was victim of that.
Right.
So I'm thinking to write a book about that.
And I suppose with the whole Me Too campaign that's now out with...
but I know that actually the movie about the migrants, the book about the migrants, the idea, I don't know, I'm still thinking about, could have something, a movie too, could be. It's always about migrants. Migrants and how we can help migrants when they come in Italy. So the projects we can approach to help them, volunteer projects from the normal people, from the civilians.
Yeah.
What can we do? Because there are some ways to help these people.
Right.
So that should be one of the next projects, but
who knows?
We'll see. Who knows?
That's it, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.